The public intellectual, an endangered species. As intelligent discussion retreats into academia, one man struggles to bring philosophy back to the people. After all, did not the great philosophers, like Socrates, Zeno of Citium, go to the agora, the marketplace, the public square, to question and to teach? Our next guest is a lover of knowledge. I was thrilled when he donated his collection of books printed by the Italian Aldus Manutius. He printed these books from about the 1490s to the 1520s, and he had a collection of them, donated them to SFU. But more thrilled when he founded the Philosopher's Cafe, in which important ideas are discussed in our familiar everyday places. Over 70,000 people in our region have participated in hundreds of these events. Our next guest also had a great influence on the concept of the public salon. When Lynn and I were developing the idea, I remember so clearly he said to me, "Sam, what you're doing is a kind of speed dating for the mind. You are introducing people to ideas that they might want to get to know more." Please welcome our next guest, Rabbi Yosef Wosk.
Since I have 7 minutes, I will respond with 5 speeches. It is said that every speech is really 5. The speech you imagine you'll give, the speech you prepare, the one you actually deliver, the one the audience hears, and finally the one upon returning home you realize that you should have given. Over the years, I've been fortunate to encounter a number of inspiring teachers, including Joseph Campbell, Marshall McLuhan, and Buckminster Fuller. Fuller was filled with ideas, with overflowing inspiration. He spoke quickly. His words poured like a river. He declared, "Give me 24 hours, and I'll tell you everything that I know." But even he could not do it in 7 minutes. So here are some headlines, some hints, and random thoughts. I was going to call my presentation Burned Out, but I thought I'd be somewhat polite and refer to it as passages. What I've been experiencing over the past few years are feelings of really being burned out, being under tremendous stress, feeling numb. I remember looking at my name one day and realizing that it felt like a commodity, a brand, a mask. I was dancing to other people's choreography, out of sync with myself, and forced into a rhythm that was not my own. I had fulfilled Oscar Wilde's insightful observation that most people are other people. Their thoughts are someone else's opinion, their lives a mimicry, their passions a quotation. I soon realized that I needed to give myself permission to change directions. I left my position at SFU not knowing where I was going or what I was going to do. I stepped out over the abyss. Whether I would hover or fall didn't really matter. I just knew that my path led in that direction. I was strengthened by Apollinaire's short parable in which we overhear a dramatic discussion between a teacher and his students. "Come to the edge," he said. "We are afraid," they said. "Come to the edge," he said. They came. He pushed them, and they flew. Passages are a series of births and deaths and resurrections. One of my teachers, Reb Zalman, pointed out that you don't have to wait until you die to be resurrected. You can experience a progression of non-mortal deaths and be constantly reincarnated in the parentheses of this lifetime. Jean Houston spoke about the metaphor of the parentheses, the beginning and the end. Sometimes I'm interested in the content of the parentheses, most often in what came before, what comes after, what's above and below. What is the meaning of time, of space, of consciousness? What is the significance of the moment, of each of our lives, of our thoughts, communications, and of our actions? Yes, I am burned out from racing after infinity, not just at the speed of light, but at the transcendent speed of imagination. I am exhausted from birthing and dying and being born again to ever new challenges, from embracing the mind of Genesis and reaching out to others in the here and now, from wrestling with my emotions, yes, still crazy after all these years, let alone trying to remember passwords and figuring out the latest technologies, how they work. I find that most rebirths are as difficult as the first. We emerge in pain, navigating narrow passages, entering unfamiliar territory. We manifest as rookies, awkward entities, relying on others. Others who may be friends or indifferent bureaucrats. We depend on allies who may appear disguised as the winds and the waters, as obstacles that direct us in other directions, and we are often astonished by coincidental encounters that melt or shatter our hearts and open us to ever deeper realities. These are the passages that I am talking about. Here I am, just turned 64. Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? Stumbling over that unlikely number. I am both fearful before the limited years that I have left, and at the same time lovingly appreciative of the moment, the sun, the flower, the friend, the exquisite awareness of being conscious. Sam, I'd like to congratulate you on being elected to the Provincial Legislative Assembly and on the organization of these public salons. Programs such as the Philosopher's Cafe and the Public Salon have made Vancouver a conversation capital of the world. I'd like to make a suggestion that I think would enhance your work in the legislature. I learned this from the Nobel Peace Prize winning laureate Elie Wiesel when I studied with him in Boston. Sometimes he would pause in the middle of a class and ask our advice. I am traveling to Russia tomorrow, he would say, to meet Gorbachev. What should we talk about? Or, I'm going to meet with President Reagan in a couple of days. What should we discuss? Sam, perhaps you could take a few moments at the end of each salon to ask our audience, our guests, what is on your mind? What are the issues we should discuss in Victoria? Or open an online discussion so that the salon extends throughout the year. This, too, is a passage and a step towards a more dynamic, participatory democracy. In conclusion, I share these words by the great Bengali poet Rabindranath Tagore. Much knowing has turned my hair gray, and much watching has made my sight dim. For years I have gathered and heaped up scraps and fragments of things. I let go my pride of learning and judgment of right and of wrong. I'll shatter memory's vessel, scattering the last drops of tears. With the foam of the berry red wine, I will bathe and brighten my laughter. I'll take the holy vow to be worthless, to be drunken and go to the dogs. May we all be blessed in our passages and always be there for one another in our journey as friends through life. I'm now going home to prepare that fifth speech.